Welcome back, friends, family, loved ones, the whole shebang, the whole shebang. I'm Zach, an actor here in Chicago, joined by...
I'm Michael. I'm also an actor here in the city of Chicago.
I don't know why they...
I'm Michael. We are back. We are reacting today. We are doing another True Facts video for you all.
By zefrank1.
Yes.
We enjoyed the Trap Jaw Ants video.
We did. It was great.
It was cool to see it drop, right? It was pretty soon after we hit 25,000 subs, which...
Thank you all.
Yeah. But the response to the videos seemed pretty good. So we on the channel have been excited that we get to react to some more of these. So this one in particular is Dangerous Little Ticks.
Oh, those dangerous little ticks.
Those dangerous little ticks. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect from this one, but
I'm excited.
Yeah.
There's always something weird and crazy we get to learn. And he's got such a nice, fun twist on it.
Oh, absolutely. And if you like the video, feel free to actually like the video. And if you love us, love our content, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And go ahead, leave a comment down in the comment section. That's what it's for. It's for the interaction. Michael and I have been working to interact with you guys on a personal level as much as we can. And then we also have Daniel, who reacts from the Chicago Reacts channel as well. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get back into this. And any last words before we get into it? Dangerous little ticks?
I'm ready for him.
All right.
I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna like learn about ticks, and it's gonna like freak me out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
We'll see.
I'm yeah.
I mean, I've known about Lyme disease, but that's about all I've known, and now I feel like I'm gonna get freaked out. But I'm ready for it.
All right.
Maybe it's happened to you. You're in the shower or getting dressed, and you look down and you see a little tick.
Little
it's all
tick.
Like a
swollen
peanut
and
with
engorged
legs.
with
Oh,
blood.
looks like a lima
And you
bean.
freak out and you tell someone, I have a little tick on me and I want your help getting it off. I want you to grab this little tick as close to my skin as possible and pull on it slowly but firmly until it all comes out. And then you take that tick to the doctor and you show them and you ask,
That's
is this
the
little tick
difference.
dangerous? They'll tell you there are two main kinds of ticks, soft ticks and hard ticks.
Bro, that
and
bitch
there
is
are
gonna
many
pop.
diseases they can carry. But it is Lyme disease that is the most common and widespread in the world. The ticks responsible for the spread of Lyme are a few species of very similar hard ticks in the genus Ixodes. But before you start throwing blame around, you should know that it's complicated. It's a story with blood, saliva, small rodents, everything you need for a good bedtime read. And here is where it starts.
Our
This is
boy
Tina,
Morgan Freeman
and she's
again.
just hatching out of her egg as a tick larva. Right now, she looks a bit like demon fingers.
Yeah.
Now, ticks are arachnids, and arachnids have 8 legs, but as a larva, Tina only
does
has
look
6. And she is very tiny, about the size of the head of a pin. At the time of her birth, Tina is completely free of the bacteria that causes Lyme, because mama ticks cannot give it to their babies. So at this point in her life, she could give you a good sucking and you wouldn't get it. Yes, it sounds rude, but it is a sucking, isn't it? Because Tina is a parasite that specializes in eating blood. And she can't help that. Even if she wanted an avocado from Mexico, she couldn't eat it. Not with her crazy ass mouth parts. Sorry, not with her crazy ass mouth parts. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, Jerry, you have to proofread these. But first, how does little Tina acquire the Lyme bacteria in the first place? Or do anything, for that matter? Well, for starters, she will need to eat. Tina will only eat 3 meals in her whole life, which
Tina's
can be a
little
few
legs.
years
Look at Tina
long.
go.
So the first one has to be a good breakfast.
Wait, did you
Now,
hear
you've
that?
probably noticed that
They
she's
eat
not
only
much of a
3
sprinter.
meals in their
She
whole
also
life.
doesn't have any eyes. So she's a bit more of a right place at the right time sort of hunter. Each of her front legs has a special organ called Haller's organ. It can sense moisture, heat, and molecules that help Tina position herself in the likely path of a small animal. If a bird or lizard or rodent passes by, she grabs on. In this case, her first meal is from a mouse. She attaches and starts eating with the crazy mouth parts. We'll get to that in a minute. But what she doesn't realize is that this mouse is what is called a competent host to Borrelia burgdorferi, one of the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. A competent host means that the bacteria can live inside the mouse, avoiding its immune system, but without making the mouse sick. Here's what Borrelia burgdorferi looks like. Named after Willy Bergdorfer, by the way. Good name to be named after. You know, you don't want to be named like after Eric Diarrhea. No one wants to be Borrelia diarrhea. It is a spirochete, a twisty spaghetti noodle sort of bacterium. Now here's the problem. The bacteria live inside the mouse, but the mouse is going to die at some point. So for the bacteria to live on as a species, it needs to have a way to infect other competent hosts. And this is where Tina comes in. This bacteria has evolved to use ticks exclusively to find new hosts. Tina is sort of like a spaceship that helps it colonize new planets. As Tina eats, the bacteria enters her tummy parts and they attach to the lining of her midgut. Look at that, you can see right through her. Once there, they go into a kind of low-energy state, sort of like those suspended animation pods that astronauts use in science fiction movies. After 3 days of feeding, Tina is about the size of a poppy seed. With her little bacteria travelers on board, she drops back to the ground to digest and to get ready for the next phase of her life. As a nymph, her nymph body develops inside that swollen-ass thing that you really want to pop like a zit. When she emerges, she now has her 4th pair of legs. As a nymph, she will have meal number 2, and this is where it gets interesting. The bacteria are rooting for Tina to pick another competent host so they can infect it and keep multiplying. It's like astronauts hoping to land on an Earth-like planet. But Tina can also feed from incompetent hosts. These include some lizards and all ruminants like deer and cattle. If Tina feeds from one of these incompetent hosts, their blood and immune system will kill off the Lyme bacteria, ridding Tina of the infection. That's right, a deer tick doesn't get Lyme from a deer. This means that depending on her food preference, an infected nymph will either stay infected or be cured. For example, exotic ticks in the southeast of the United States prefer lizards, and therefore Lyme is uncommon. In the northeast, they prefer rodents, and Lyme is everywhere. Now, Tina could also choose a 3rd category of host, which includes people and dogs. In this case, the tick remains infected but gets a good meal. For everyone else, it's a bummer. To the bacteria, we are a dead end. Once inside of us, it has no chance of infecting anything else. And our immune system goes completely batshit crazy trying to deal with it. Anyway, Tina the nymph chooses an uninfected mouse. To see how she transmits the disease, we'll have to look at her crazy-ass mouth parts.
Footage
Told you,
crazy.
This is what toilet paper looks like in hell. But first, a brief message about our sponsor.
That's her jaw?
I'm going to lead with this. Curiosity Stream is only $14.99 for an entire year. Even if you don't know what it is,
you're
probably thinking, what could possibly be so affordable?
Like smaller,
is it a half of a shoe? No, I'll tell you what it is.
Previously, so if you
Curiosity Stream is a collection of thousands of documentaries and non-fiction programs that you can stream to any device, not a toaster, but everything, not a vacuum either. They also have original programming. They just released one called Doug to the Rescue. It's about Doug. That's him, not the puppy, the person. He uses drones with infrared cameras on them to find and rescue animals trapped by fires and hurricanes. You probably don't do that, but you can watch him do it. Curiosity Stream is only $14.99 for the whole year. I'm a fan and happy to have their support. Use code ZEFRANK to sign up. Where were we? Oh, right, this crazy thing. But let's back up a second. Many other blood feeders, like the mosquito, are quite precise. They poke their mouth parts directly into a blood vessel and let the host's heart pump the blood for them. Ticks, on the other hand, do it differently. They are pool feeders or telmophages. It's sort of like when you're on the beach and you dig a hole and then it fills up with water. Imagine that, but with blood that you then drink. But digging in skin is a little more challenging than digging a hole in the sand. When you're the size of a tick, skin is more like a loose mesh of fibers. Imagine having to tunnel into a giant ball of cotton. To dig, Tina uses these, a pair of chelicerae. Each one can telescopically extend and bend at the tip. By employing a sort of alternate swimming type motion, they pull the matrix of the skin apart. Tina secretes saliva which contains proteins that numb the area and suppress the immune system, but also cause tissues to start breaking down. When things have been loosened up a bit, both chelicerae extend, bend at the tips, and pull at the same time. This drives that central barbed thing called the hypostome deeper into the skin. The hypostome seems to act as an anchor, holding on with all those backward-facing barbs. And backward-facing barb is a good pornography name. As fluid from the damaged tissues begin to pool, Tina's mouth sucks it up using a muscular pump. When the first bits of the meal hit the midgut, it seems that the bacteria wake up. Instead of going out through the mouth, which is kind of swimming against the current, the bacteria make their way through the gut wall to the salivary glands. And it's through the saliva that the bacteria enter the host. It can take more than 24 hours of feeding for the bacteria to move to the salivary glands. So if you pull it off early enough, you can avoid the disease. Anyway, after her second meal, Tina is ready for her final molt into her adult form. Males and females look virtually identical in their larval and nymphal stages, but as adults they differ. Females are larger, and males have shorter, stubbier mouth parts. This is because the adult male will not eat again, and instead will use his mouth parts for mating. You'll see. As an adult, Tina will only attach to larger animals because this meal is a big one. Climbing up tall grasses gives her a better shot at big animals. Well now, it seems that Tina has found herself a mate. Here you can see the smaller male position himself to initiate mating. He aligns his jagged mouthparts with the female's genital pore, as is the custom. After some prodding around, and if the vibe is right, he inserts his mouthparts into the genital pore, as is the custom. Well, I know it's blurry, Jerry. You can't hire a good pornographer to film this. It's too small.
As is the custom.
You need tiny instruments. Now pay attention. While he's doing that, he exudes a sort of liquidy sac called a spermatophore out of his genital opening. You can see it right there. It looks a bit like a white balloon. Then he deposits his sperm into it. You know, you wouldn't hire him to be a birthday clown. When the spermatophore is loaded and ready, he pulls his mouthparts out. Then he pulls the spermatophore over to her genital pore and attaches it. It's like meeting someone who really doesn't understand how to use a condom. Carbon dioxide inside the spermatophore actively pushes the sperm into the female tick. Males can do this 2 to 3 times and often mate with females who are in the process of feeding. It's like a theme restaurant. This last feeding is a doozy. When she detaches after a week or so of feeding, Tina is 200 times her starting weight. This final meal will be used to create her babies, and there's a lot of them. These will be the only eggs that she lays, and they are tiny and vulnerable to dehydration. But she has a special organ called Genet's organ that makes its appearance during the egg-laying process. It looks a bit like a handlebar mustache made out of gummy worms. You can see it right here. As eggs emerge from her ovipositor, Genet's organ catches them between those horns. Genet's horny organ then coats them with a waxy secretion, which helps them cluster together and keeps them moist. Tina will lay up to 2,000 eggs, and when she's done, she will die.
2,000?
Jerry, how long is this clip? Does it just keeps going? Well, no, I know she lays a lot of eggs. I just didn't think we'd watch every single one. I mean, it's less dramatic. And then she will die. That's a fade to black. What do you mean, who eats them? Oh, you mean the ticks? Well, I'll tell you one thing. A chicken will eat a tick. Oh, sure. Chickens will eat ticks all day. Oh, you should see them. Their little heads bobbing up and down. They'd eat a whole bag of ticks if they could. A whole bag of ticks.
This booty cute, got a cute booty.
Oh, man.
The wonders of evolution. I thought that what was really cool is seeing the different stages of evolution in the males, the females, and then the Lyme, the bacteria as well. Like that was super cool.
Yeah, I mean,
seeing that.
You got this symbiotic relationship going on, so
Right.
it's cool to learn about both species. And
Right. I wanted to honestly learn more about the effects of Lyme disease on the human body. Like, I know that this was a video about the ticks, but he got me interested enough to like, whoa, now I kind of want to know like how that bacteria works once it's in the body. Like,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, and good to know that you have about 24 hours to. I
Yeah.
mean, I know they
Yeah,
say
yeah,
like
yeah.
pull
Yeah.
ticks off your dogs early.
Yeah.
That's really more what I worry about is
Right.
my dog getting a tick. So, oh, my sweet
Hello.
puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, True Facts by zefrank1. I love this series. Really interesting stuff. He's got such a funny way of like undercutting himself.
He does.
I think, and I love the back and forth he has with like whoever's editing the video, as though like he's just the voiceover person.
Yeah.
And is like reacting to it. I think that's really good.
It's for me, between his voice and his clear passion for it, and his journey of learning about whatever the topic is and how he then teaches it, between that and then just the really cool footage that you would not see anyplace else, like the ticks up that close, like while the female's laying its eggs, and it's really cool. It gives you a whole new perspective of biology, of life, in a way that otherwise would not be possible. And it's really cool. It's really informative. The facts that they choose to share and how it lines up as well with the footage that's actively being shown in the moment is really cool. It's very organized, well put together, well narrated, and it doesn't go on for too long, where it starts to sort of blur the lines of being entertaining and boring. It's
like quick and punchy enough to like get through and be entertained for 12 minutes.
Right.
Almost.
And again, I think like this, going back to like my time in high school, this would be so cool. Like if I had a bio teacher that showed one zefrank video a week or something like that as like a cool sort of bonus as to what we're learning about that would be super cool.
And I feel like these are like, obviously it's a little different, but the type of teachers that I really enjoyed were the ones who had some sense of humor and also made it like relatable to me, or like made it real. And that's what this is. I mean, you're seeing this footage up close, but he's telling this story of these ticks or whatever it is, and that really helps.
Yeah, absolutely. zefrank, man, keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
And if these videos continue to get well received, as our Trap Jaw Ants video did, and hopefully this one will too, I don't see any reason why we can't keep doing them. I think to have one of these in our lineup each time we come in, I think is awesome. So.
Yeah, so make sure to leave a comment in those comment section down below if there's more zefrank videos you want us to check out.
Yeah.
And hey, if you like this video, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss videos in the future. And I think with that, we'll see you next time on Chicago Reacts.
Yeah. Ooh, it's mesmerizing.
No, I just said.
Yeah.
Gotcha.